The next tool that I want to show you is actually our data enrichment. So I'm going to just show you here a sample data set of some SMBs, so small and medium-sized businesses. So you can see that how our external data enrichment is done. So whether you are creating data in our generation tool or uploading your own data, what you're about to see is how the environment would look like and how you can actually enrich your own data set. So this particular demo is looking at SMBs, but we can really enrich a lot of different things, and it kind of depends on the characteristics of the data. So we can do enrichment on SMBs as well as individuals, locations, like maybe you want to give us a list of zip codes, for example, or a list of IP addresses. There's lots of different ways we can enrich the data. So what you're seeing here is simply just a sample data set, as I said, of small to medium businesses where every record is a different company. And all of the columns represent different key attributes about them so that we can actually do our matching. So, when you're in the tool, you might have noticed already kind of these data types that we're tagging in each of the columns. And so these data types are how our actual enrichment process is done. So when you're in the tool, you want to make sure that they're set correctly. And you'll see that by default, we're kind of already setting the data types for you because we have this tool running that's taking its best guess at what they are. But you can actually click on these data types and then select the relevant one for your problem. And so the reason why these data types are so crucial is because that's how all of our matching and entity resolution is done. And so, for example, by having the zip code set to a zip code data type rather than just a plain numeric data type, now you're able to unlock some of our data by zip code, for example, like income and demographics that's indexed by zip code. And so it's how on the back end, all of our data sets are indexed and how you can unlock and actually do the matching. So when we're talking about enrichment on companies, and we want to understand a little bit more about these potential companies, because maybe we want to go and target them and actually market towards them. Some key things for us to do the matching on a company basis would be like the company's name, their website, so we can pull in like our web traffic data, their location information, so we can look at demographics in the area, the foot traffic, the weather data, for instance, as well as maybe the business's email and phone number. If, for example, we were looking at a list of individuals, some key identifiers would be some personal information like their first and last name, their email address, again, where they live, maybe where they work, all things that we're able to do our matching on. So essentially, the enrich button is kind of where all the magic happens in our platform. And so when you select enrich, it's using a combination of all of these data types that you're seeing in order to pull back any relevant external data that we've got in our catalog. So you can see that just in a matter of a few seconds, we've collected our data sets, and you can see we've been able to match 86 relevant data sets to this use case. And so anything from, on the company side, like company firmographics and financials, business reviews, credit data, industry information, all of that good stuff is here for you to explore in one place. So we're really taking the headache away of going out to all of these different locations and procuring the data, cleaning it, bringing it in-house, storing it, and whatnot. And it's actually all in one place for you to browse. So maybe you want to sift through and maybe look at some of our web traffic, for example, or we've got some housing information and real estate statistics, etc. Some basic firmographic information as well. Basically, when you click on a data source here, you'll see a little bit of a description about it. So this particular data source is just essential information on companies. A lot of our customers are leveraging this data set, and you can see which columns we use to make the match, and then all of the potential attributes we could append to this data set. So maybe you want to come in here and you want to learn on these companies, what industry are they in? Maybe you want to understand the number of employees, for example, and how much revenue and the credit score of the company. All of these different attributes can be relevant and give more context into what's going on at a company. So you can go through each data set and simply just hit add. And what you're about to see happen here in real time is we are appending in these blue columns here, the external data. So the reason we're able to do this so quickly, as you'll see, is because all of this data is pre-cleaned and harmonized and ready to go. So we've taken that headache away of going through the data and making sure that it's relevant, as well as the entity resolution and the matching. So you can see that in real time, for every company, we're able to see the actual value of, okay, what is their industry code? What is their revenue range? How many employees do they have? And so you can quickly evaluate the quality of the data, the range, and what information is going to be relevant for your particular use case. So there's lots of data in here. We also give estimated coverages as well on the sample. So you can get an understanding of, for your particular data set, what does that look like? What's the fill rate? And you can combine from multiple different sources as well. So maybe you pull in some information, some basic firmographic information here, but you want to learn about the technologies that the company is using and maybe their web traffic, for example. You can just really easily come in and just compare between sources and combine them as well, all in one place. So our data, is coming from so many different places, and it falls into kind of 3 different categories. So we've got premium data that we're going and purchasing from these big vendors, and we're handling all the procurement and storing and cleaning process of it. And then we're also constantly finding open source data. We're pulling it, we're cleaning it, and we're serving it to our customers in the platform. And then finally, we also have proprietary data that we're doing aggregations ourselves and driving our own values, maybe creating custom pipelines for our customers as well, so that they can get the best accuracy and the most coverage for their use cases. So now let's say, we've got this list of companies and we've learned a lot about them. So in our recipe tab, you can see every step that was taken on this data set. So here we've enriched our data with industry information, employee counts, credit and revenue, as well as technology information. And let's say that, we want to pull this off the platform because we want to maybe push it into a BI tool, or begin to model this and see if some of these could be potential features in some data science models. So there's a lot of different options for pulling data out of our platform that I want to show you guys, and they're all based off of our recipe tab. So you can see here every action that was taken on this data set. We have some filtering capabilities and transformations as well. So those would also be recorded in this recipe. And so when you go to our export button, you can see the 3 options for actually pulling this enriched data off of our platform and starting to analyze and work with it. So the first thing you can do is just flat download the file, in which you would get back what you're seeing here in full CSV form, your internal columns matched up with your external ones. We also have a real-time API. So a lot of our customers are making requests in Python, for example. They're sending us new companies constantly, or new individuals, and pulling back lots of enriched data about them, and then feeding that into whatever their workflow might be. And then finally, a lot of our customers are using some of our integrations as well. And so you have the ability to run batch enrichment and actually push them to some of these cloud-based warehouses. So a lot of our customers, for example, they have data in Snowflake or maybe in an S3 bucket, and so they can actually specify a connection to push their data into our platform. But not only that, they can enrich their data with our world of attributes, and then push it back into their S3 buckets, or even their Salesforce, for example. On the marketing side, a lot of our customers are generating leads with us, as I showed you, coming in here, enriching those leads with even more information, and then putting that data into Salesforce and routing it to the relevant AEs. And finally, you have the ability as well to set a schedule. So you can constantly pull this information. So some of our customers, for example, who are getting leads from their website, as soon as they get an application, they'll constantly pull that information, the same information about that lead, either daily or weekly, depending on what cadence works for them. So you can just continuously access the external data that you have found relevant for your particular use case.